नमस्कार. सडेतोड नायक कार्यावळींत तुमकां सगळ्यांक येवकार दिता. गोंयांत पावस आतां खंयच्याय खिणाक येवपाचो जालो अशें हांव मानतां. आमी फाटले 2 दीस बातमी दीत आसात, आज येता फाल्यां येता, आनी तो खरोच आतां कारवार मेरेन येवन म्हणजे गोंयच्या शिमेर येवन उबो रावला अशे तरेचें वातावरण आसा. आनी त्याच विशयाचेर आमकां उलोवपाचें आसात. डॉक्टर M.R. रमेश कुमार हे NIOचे सायंटिस्ट आसात. ओशनाचो पावसाचेर जावपी परिणाम हो तांचो खरो अभ्यासाचो विशय. ताका लागून आमी पळयतात अरबी समुद्राचो परिणाम पावसाचेर जाता आनी ह्या अर्दान पावस येता. तर अशे तरेचो पावस आतां आयला आनी आमकां चड जाणून घेवपाचें आसा. इतल्या खातीर गोंयांत तुमी जाणा जवळ 4 म्हयने पावस पडटा. सामको उटंगराचो पावस, ल्हान व्हड. पयले 2 म्हयने तर इतलो पावस की लोकांक पावसा विशीं जाणून घेवपाचें आसता हें आमी जाणात. म्हणूनच आमी डॉक्टर रमेश कुमार हांचे कडेन उलोवपाक तांकां हांगा आपयल्यात. तुमकां आमच्या स्टुडियोन हांव येवकार दिता. रमेश कुमारजी, तुमकां आमकां पयलो प्रश्न म्हाका तोच आसा. कांय संस्था म्हणटात की अजून केरळानूच पावस आडखळून उरला. IMD म्हणटा की ना, केरळांतल्यान तो आयलो, केरळाक पावस सुरू जाला, आतां तो कारवाराक तेंकलो म्हणून. तो पावस एक्चुअली केन्ना सुरू जाता आनी तुमचे पळय जो हिशोब आसता, पावस आतां येता फाल्यां येता अशें पळय तुमी पळय आमकां हिशोब दितात, तो तुमी कित्या वयल्यान आदारीत आसता आनी ह्या वर्साचो पावस असो म्हाका.
ओके, एक्सलंट क्वेश्चन. आतां पावस म्हणगेले ताका 3 इम्पॉर्टंट एस्पेक्ट आसा. एक मॉन्सून ऑनसेट ओवर केरळा जाता एंड विथीन द मॉन्सून सीजन 1st जून अप टू 30th सप्टेंबर थोडे दिसा पावस खूब येता, तांकां आमी एक्टीव मॉन्सून म्हणटा. थोडे दिसाक आमकां ते ब्रेक म्हणटा आसा, ताका आमी ब्रेक मॉन्सून म्हणटा. एंड अमावंट ऑफ रेनफॉल. सो 3 इम्पॉर्टंट आस्पेक्ट आसा. आतां तुमी सांगिल्लें IMD एंड स्कायमॅट म्हणून. IMD करक्टली सांगिल्लें तांणी 27th मे +or-4 days सांगिल्लें तांणी. ते +or-4 days एंड केरळांत ते 29th मे पावलो. आनी मॉन्सून म्हणगेले बेसिकली इट इज एक्चुअली ए सीजनल रिवर्सल ऑफ विंड. तेंच आसा. इन एडिशन टू दॅट ताका आमकां पावस मेळटा. आतां केरळांत प्री मॉन्सून सिजनांत इतलो पावस मेळ्ळो, गोंयांत मेळूं ना, नॉर्थ इंडिया मेळूं ना, नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया मेळूं ना. खूब जगांत प्री मॉन्सून सिजन मार्च, एप्रिल, मेयांत. Only in the month of May, we got a little bit more rainfall over other places, including Goa. But Kerala got maximum amount of rainfall in the month of pre-monsoon season. आणि सगळे विचारतात की मान्सून म्हणजे एक, as you said, it comes as a burst. Or let's say vortex. तशी काय ना. Monsoon can come as a thief also. Or monsoon can come quietly as a whimper also. So don't get this one that pessimistic that पावस पावलो आणि तुम्ही सांगितले आमच्या डोर स्टेपारी पावलो, कारवारा पावलो. बरोबर. ते फाल्यां येवपाक शकता, आज येवपाक शकता, परवा येवपाक शकता. बरोबर. मॉन्सून अशी लिनियर जावन प्रोग्रेस जायना. आम सांगपाक कारण म्हणगेले 2013 16 डेजान ते मॉन्सून एंटायर इंडियन सबकॉन्टिनेंट कवर केले. एक वर्षान 2013 ते वर्षान आमकां उत्तराखंड फ्लड्स आशिल्ले. आनी दुसरे एक फावटी 2002 ते 76 days घेतले. सो वन इज 16 days अँडर इज 76 days. 60 days डिफरन्स आसा.
बट तुमकां एक्झॅक्ट अशें अनुमान काडपाक मेळना ना की आतां पावस केरळाक येतलो अमके तारखेक. एक पेपर असो आसतालें, म्हाका म्हज्या ल्हानपणान खबर आहा की अंदाज 30 तारखेक केरळान आसतालो, 7 जुनाच्यान तो येतालो म्हळ्यार येतालो गोंयांत.
ताका आमी सांगता की monsoon आमचे each person, see one monsoon can be like Raju Nayak, one monsoon can be like Ramesh Kumar, one monsoon can be like Anil Patil. Each monsoon is unique and different. So सगळे monsoon आमकां हें करपा जायना. And it is not like actually a physical quantity, it is actually a dynamic quantity. तांतू ओशियन्स खूब रोल प्ले करता. आतां एल निनो येल जाल्यार monsoon डिलेड जाता. हे वर्सा monsoon अर्ली येयलो केरळांत. Even they सांगिल्लें आमी 27th येता म्हणून. If you look at the last 20 years, only 2 or 3 times 23rd May, 25th May. So this year also.
So this is really a very unique thing.
Unique,
mostly 7th of June तो टच जाता. तो जवळ 5 ते 6 दीस बेगीन गोंयांत पावता.
Last year it came on 5th thanks to a cyclone called Tautke. It came only on 3rd June in Kerala. दोन्ही दिवसां पावले हांगा. आतां हे वर्सांत येवपाक शकतालो आशिल्लो मॉन्सून कारवारा राबिल्लो तो. आमी ताका हायटास इन मॉन्सून म्हणटा. मॉन्सूनाचो स्ट्रेट प्रोग्रेस जायना. whereas it went like that in 2013, 16 days कवर केलो. That was the year when we had lots of rainfall and excess rainfall. Uttarakhand सगळं येयलो. Whereas in 2002 it was actually a drought year or a deficit year. इतले पावस कमी जाले की आमचे मेलो. 15th of August, Northwest India Paula. Another interesting thing which I wanted to say is actually even within Goa, the rainfall is not the same. केप्पेम सांगेम वाळपॉय थंगा खूप पावस मेळटा
बरोबर.
इफ यू लुक एट द इंडियन मॅप प्लेसेस लायक से राजस्थान द सीजनल रेनफॉल इज 10 सेंटीमीटर आसा आनी आमी द सेम लॅटिट्यूड बेल्टाक गेले जाल्यार प्लेसेस आसा चिरापुंजी मौसनराम तांकां 1000 सेंटीमीटर्स पावस पडटा.
बरोबर.
एक सायडाक 10 सेंटीमीटर आसा आनी एक सायडाक 1000 सेंटीमीटर.
ह्या वेळार गोंयच्या पावसाचें युनिकनेस कितें आसतलें?
हे वर्साक आमकां खूब पावस मेळटलो. Don't worry, because a process La Nina म्हणून जाता equatorial Pacific Ocean.
Yes.
That is actually favorable for Indian monsoon. But there is another complication which is happening in the ocean called Indian Ocean Dipole.
Yes.
The Indian Ocean Dipole, positive dipole असल्यार आमकां बरें आसा. आतां negative dipole था. तो आमकां थोडा त्रासाक घालपाक जाता. Especially peninsular India त्रासाक घालपाक जाता.
Yes. And what is the uniqueness about the Arabian Sea?
ओके, फॅन्टास्टीक क्वेश्चन.
अरेबियन सीक लागून आमकां पावस पडटा आनी ताजो इफेक्ट जाता. अरेबियन सीक लागून आमी वेगळे वेगळे ट्रेंड्स पावसाचे पळयल्या.
एक्सलंट क्वेश्चन.
आनी तुगेलो अभ्यास
म्हणजे म्हाज्या प्रबंधांत तो आसा. इट्स अ फॅन्टास्टीक क्वेश्चन. आमचे कडेन खूब हांगा डावट आसले की आमचे क्लोजनेस टू इंडियन सबकॉन्टिनेंट एक अरेबियन सी आसा आनी बे ऑफ बंगाल आसा. आमी एक अरेबियन सी ब्रांच मागता आनी बे ऑफ बंगाल ब्रांच मागता. बट वी हॅव एक्चुअली लॉट ऑफ डाटा फ्रॉम द सॅटेलाइट्स.
येस.
These satellites actually showed that it is not the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. If you remember, Goa has lots of beaches.
Yes.
If you go in the afternoon, you get a nice thing what we call sea breeze.
Yes.
So whole of the Indian subcontinent, if you look at, only in the Indian Ocean, we have a huge landmass in the northern hemisphere.
Yes.
Whereas if you look at the Pacific Ocean and Atlantic Ocean, they are connected from pole to pole. Arctic and Antarctic, they are connected.
Yes.
There is no land barrier in the northern hemisphere.
Yes.
Or either in the Atlantic Ocean or in the Pacific Ocean. Only in the Indian Ocean we have a huge landmass of Asia. Because of that, during the months of May, June, July, August and September, the entire area of Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, it gets heated up. So we have actually had thermal low pressure jata, and around 30 degrees south, massacring high monosa. Thanga suguna se ware, wind flows from this high pressure area to a low pressure area, and once it crosses the equator, becomes a Coriolis force. Teshi amka monsoon yeta. Monsoon because of that land and sea contrast lagunoch monsoon nale paus yeta amka. That brings lot of moisture from the ocean.
So Arabian Sea ह्या दिसांनी चड तापता.
Arabian Sea tapta, Bay of Bengal tapta, land ताज्या पेक्षा चड tapta. So because of this influences of land and sea contrast, amka winds yeta. And lower level jet. There are so many things which is happening in the ocean and atmosphere, and ocean plays a very very important role. Especially for the
तोच प्रश्न म्हजो परत तोच येता की आता तापमान
वाडटा
आणि तापमान वाडपाचो परिणाम म्हळ्यार समुद्र पातळी वाडटा. हाचो सगळो इफेक्ट पावसाचेर कसो जाता? खूब
आसा. वन इम्पॉर्टंट थिंग इज एक्चुअली द अमाउंट ऑफ मॉइश्चर कितले वाडटा. सी सरफेस आसता करून एटमॉस्फियर आमचे आमी मॉइश्चर नाल्यार इवापरेशन मागता. ते इवापरेट जाले आमचे कॉन्टिनेंटाक येवपाचें जाय. ताका आमी एक लँड लेवल लो लेवल जेट मागता नाल्यार वेस्टर्ली विंड्स घेवन येता. ते घेवन येवपा जाय. क्लाउड्स फॉर्म जावपा जाय. हे सगळे जाल्यार पावस मेळटा. लकीली आमी सांगिल्लें ते राजस्थान आनी चिरापुंजी सगळे न्ही. सेम वे आमकां सह्याद्रीस आसा, वेस्टर्न घाट्स आसा. हे वेस्टर्न घाट्सा लागून Kerala, Mumbai, you get lots of rainfall on the windward side of the Western Ghats. See, for example, Mumbai gets lots of rainfall. Pune titne melna.
Exactly.
Because it's on the leeward side asa.
Yes.
Windward side kitle paus melta te leeward side melna. Kerala to tashich. Kerala melta, Karnataka melta. What are actually on the windward side of actually the Western Ghats? You get lots and lots of rainfall.
And Goyak, how safe we are?
Okay, that's a fantastic question.
Because एका अर्दान अरबी समुद्र आसा, अरबी समुद्राची पातळी वाडटा. दुसऱ्या अर्दान वेस्टर्न घाट्स आसा, थंयसर विध्वंस चालू आसा. सो तें उदक सकयल येवंक शकता. ताजे बरोबर ते येदो व्हडलो रेबो हाडटा, माती हाडटा. सो हे सगळे आमच्यो न्हंयो पुरवल्यात. हे सगळे जे पळय
बेसिकली वी आर क्वायट सेफ until and unless we change our greed. See, actually I was just mentioning in my last talk also, it is a human greed.
Yes.
And the population pressure also.
Yes.
See, everybody needs a house, I was
Yes.
mentioning.
Yes.
So if you look at Goa, as you said, the land use. In fact, Professor Madhav Gadhil has correctly mentioned. He
Yes.
has traveled all the way from Kerala
Yes.
up to Mumbai
Correct.
and traversed along the whole of the Western Ghats.
Yes.
So he has given a report for the various governments, whether it's the Kerala government or Karnataka government or Goa government
Yeah.
or even Maharashtra.
Nobody cares for that report.
Exactly. They threw it into the Arabian Sea. In Kerala, they threw into the Arabian Sea.
Correct.
And later they had actually a Kasturi Rangan report. Again,
Yes.
he is from the satellite fraternity.
Yes.
Again, they had a woman v woman report. But none of the reports were cared or bothered about.
Yes.
Which is a sad thing. So
Yes.
unless people obey,
Yes. Yes.
and we call ourselves educated,
Exactly.
what's the whole fun?
Yeah.
So
डॉक्टर म्हाका आनी एक क्वेश्चन NIO संस्थेन तुमी इतली वर्सां काम केलें एज अ
Yeah.
सायंटिस्ट NIO ऑल्सो डज पिरियोडिकल रिपोर्ट्स ऑन द मॉन्सून
yes, yes, they do that.
सो अशे तरेचे रिपोर्ट्स जे पळय तयार जातात ते आमकां मेळटात.
Okay, that's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
In fact, whatever research
Yeah.
which is done in NIO or any public laboratory should be
Yes.
accessible to the
Yes.
Amjanda or maybe public.
Correct.
So we have actually what we call digital repository scheme म्हणून आसा.
Correct.
आमच्या एक फुड्याच्या एक लायब्ररीन आसलेलो डॉक्टर मुरारी तबस्वी म्हणून आसलो.
Yes.
सो ताणें अशें खूब काम केलें. ताणें कितें केलें म्हगेलें वॉट एवर रिसंट रिसर्च इज डन ही आस्क द पीपल टू रायट इन द वर्नाकुलर लँग्वेज मे बी इन मराठी और इन कोंकणी
Yes.
and he puts in the digital repository scheme
Yes.
or where anybody can take it.
Yes.
It's a brilliant, very much needed because
Yes.
all of us are funded by the government of India and by taxpayers' money.
Correct.
So whatever results, especially the research results, should be accessible to the public, and we always put it in our public domain. So
Correct.
anybody can download it and ask questions
Correct.
and send emails.
एका
etc.
महत्वाच्या विशयाचेर आमी चर्चा करतात डॉक्टर रमेश कुमार हांचे कडेन. आमी पावस हो फकत पावस दिसता तसो सोंपो ना विशय. पावस गोंयान केन्ना येता 2 दिसां भितर तो येवपा जालो ताजो ट्रेंड कितें आसतलो देशाच्या इतर देशाच्या मानान गोंयचो पावस कसो वेगळो आसता हो पावस बेशान जेन्ना प्रवास करता तेन्ना तो वेगवेगळे रुपां कशी घेता. ताणें म्हणलें पावस चोरा भशेनूय आसता पावस दिमकऱ्यांनी येता पावस हळू आवाज दिनासतना येता आनी पावसाची ही वेगवेगळी रुपां जी पळय आसात ती वेगवेगळ्या रुपांचेर आमी आतां अभ्यास करपाक जातात आमी तांचे कडेन उलोवपाक आसात. पूण आमचेय काय आनीकय काय म्हत्वाचे प्रश्न तांचे कडेन आसात. आमकां पावस समजून घेवपाक येना. खूब जाण पावसाच्यो खबरो दिता आसतनाय चुको करतात. ह्यो चुको कश्यो टाळप आनी पावसाक कसो समजून घेवप हो म्हजो तांकां फुडलो प्रश्न आसतलो. पूण तो प्रश्न विचारचे पयलीं आमी घेतात एक ल्हानसो ब्रेक. तुमी खंयच वचूं नाकात. पळयत रावात गोमंतक TV. नमस्कार. सडेतोड नायक कार्यावळीत तुमकां सगळ्यांक परतून येवकार दिता. आमी पावसाच्यो खबरी करतात आनी आमचे बरोबर आसात NIOचे आदले संचालक आदले संशोधक डॉक्टर रमेश कुमार. आमी रमेश कुमारा कडेन पावसाच्या वेगवेगळ्या परिस्थिती बद्दल उलयले पूण वेदर आनी क्लायमेट हातूंतलो फरक कितें हो आमकां समजून घेवपा आसा आनी डॉक्टर रमेश कुमार हाणें आमकां एक ल्हानशी व्हिडिओ क्लिप धाडल्या ती आमी तुमकां दाखयतात.
Could it be a nicer day for a hike? I don't know what you're bringing all that stuff for.
Hey, you never know when the weather's gonna change. Gotta be prepared.
RJ, it's like the sunniest day so far this summer. No way it's gonna rain.
Right now it's sunny, but I'm telling you, weather is the condition of the outside air or atmosphere at a particular time and place. It can change quickly. Ever hear of braving the elements?
I think so.
Well, it means the elements of weather. Air temperature, air pressure, humidity, wind, clouds and fog, and precipitation like rain, snow, and hail, those are all elements of weather.
RJ, I really don't think the weather's gonna change right now.
Oh yeah? I'm willing to bet you that 2 elements of weather are about to change as we hike up this hill.
I'll take that bet. What's gonna change in 5 minutes?
How about temperature and air pressure? Even though it's sunny, the temperature of the air can still change. As we hike up the hill, it's going to get cooler because we'll be at a higher altitude or elevation. The higher we go, the cooler the air is and the higher the air pressure.
How much cooler can it get?
Well, this hill isn't very high, so it won't get much colder. But if we were hiking something like Mount Everest, we'd be talking about seriously freezing temperatures.
Whoa. So the higher we climb, the colder the air temperature?
Yep. And as we climb, it's going to get windier too. Cool air is heavier than warm air, and it sinks. As it sinks, it gets warmer. Warm air rises back up again. When air sinks and rises like that, it causes winds. The higher we hike, the cooler and heavier the air is, and the faster it sinks.
And the faster air sinks, the faster the wind blows?
You got it.
So it gets a little cold and my hair gets messed up. I can handle it.
Okay, then what if it rains?
Rain? The climate is very nice today.
Sam, climate has to do with the usual kind of weather in a certain place over time, not on a particular day. Check it out. There are different climate zones all over the world. The main differences between each climate zone are precipitation and temperature, and those two things make the plant and animal life of each climate different. Climate is the overall weather pattern of those two elements in a certain area over time.
So weather changes day to day, but climate has to do with the big picture. And the weather today is picture perfect.
It is a warm, sunny day, but this heat means more moisture is being evaporated into the warm air. As that warm air rises higher, it cools, and that moisture turns back into droplets of water. When that happens, clouds form.
But clouds can't hurt us. They're big, fluffy puffs of air.
They're big, fluffy puffs of cold air, ready to burst with rain.
You seem to know a lot about the weather today, RJ. Did you watch the weather on the news or something?
I always check the weather. That weather guy is called a meteorologist, and his job is really important. Meteorologists study weather patterns to try to predict future weather.
Who needs a meteorologist when I have you?
I think I felt a drop.
Did not? Come on. You have to be kidding me.
What'd I tell you?
You told me, all right. Weather describes the condition of the outside air of a place at a certain time. And at this certain time, it's raining. But like you said, many factors affect changes in weather. Weather changes every day, and climate describes the weather of a place over time. Climate zones explain weather patterns and plant and animal life of particular areas. And I think we should move to a climate where it never rains.
Oh, come on. A little rain never hurt anybody. Lucky for you, I brought an extra raincoat.
Thanks. I guess we can still hike, thanks to all your rain gear. But how am I supposed to paint?
Watercolor?
आम्ही एक ल्हानशें क्लिप पळयलें दोतोर तुमकां परत तोच प्रश्न विचारता वेदर आनी क्लायमेट
ओके
ते आतां अशे तरेचे सर्वसामान्य मनशाक तें कळप डिफिकल्ट जाला सो
what you said is very true. People say misuse it. I'll put say for
Correct.
weather they say climate, and for climate they say weather.
Circle.
Basically, weather is actually the instantaneous picture of actually what is happening around.
Correct.
Over a very small area.
बरोबर.
When we talk of climate, it's over a larger area for a prolonged period of time.
करेक्ट
So we can call monsoonal climate,
Circle.
which India
Circle.
has. And
Circle.
maybe, and each day the weather is different every day.
Yes.
Every second it is changing
बरोबर.
or instantaneous.
सो ऑनसूट ऑफ मॉन्सून ओवर केरला
Yeah.
हे आजो तुमी कसो तरेन
I have done my work, especially on the onset,
Right.
several years,
Yes.
basically how the things change.
Yes.
And there are several factors
Yeah.
which actually, in good old days, people thought only pausuch karanmo. At the pausni, there are other parameters like say convection as a westerly winds as a,
Oh.
and so many things are involved.
Yes,
So
yes.
earlier it was actually a subjective criteria sile. At एक objective criteria मी कळले.
Okay.
ताका लागूनच and इतले difference आसा की just rains alone is not good enough. If the rains was the criteria, we to have actually onset over Kerala long back.
Yes.
In fact, Kerala is the gateway for the monsoon over the Indian subcontinent.
येस येस
So usually the mean onset date which happens if you take the last 100 or 120 or 150 years, you can say the mean onset of monsoon over Kerala is on 1st of June,
Yes.
which coincides with the reopening of the schools in Kerala.
येस येस
And it is actually called Idava Padi in Kerala, which was actually told by my late professor Ananda Krishnan.
Okay.
Idavam is actually a Malayalam month.
Okay.
The middle of the Malayalam month is of Idabam. It's called Idaba Padi.
Okay.
So it happens, and this is exactly coincide with that.
Yes.
And then it further progresses.
Yes.
In fact, Professor Anandakrishnan has done several works on that. Another gentleman who has worked exclusively on monsoon is Professor P.V. Joseph.
Okay.
He has also done extensive work on that, and he has actually defined an objective criteria. He was working in IMD for a long period of time, and he has worked in different branches of also meteorology, like say aviation meteorology, monsoon meteorology, cyclones सगळं काम केलं.
इतलो ट्रेंड आसा पूण म्हाका एक सांगात डॉक्टर की आतां फक्त मॉन्सून म्हणून अशें उरूना वर्सभर पावस पडटा गोंयान आमकां प्रॉब्लेम
Excellent, excellent. I can- yeah, yeah.
खंय उक्ते हाजेर कितें प्रोग्राम करप म्हणून आमकां भंय दिसता कारण पावस केन्ना येता
Excellent question.
मे म्हयन्यान तर पावस येताच
येता.
अशें आमी म्हणटात पूण आतां मार्चान पावस येता
मार्चान कितें डिसेंबरा पावस येयलो.
हय.
लास्ट डिसेंबरांत 2021 एकूच दिसाक 10 सेंटीमीटर पावस पडलो.
Yes.
10 सेंटीमीटर, नॉट अ
Yes,
जोक.
yes, yes.
This is a dangerous thing.
येस
As you correctly mentioned, there was no month which is without rainfall.
Without
And
rainfall.
especially
Yes,
if you
yes,
have actually
yes.
a function outside,
Yes.
mellow. So
Yes.
this is actually very, very important as you said. But the main season of the पावसाचे आमचे जून टू सप्टेंबर आसा, and 75 to 90% आमचे annual rainfall हे 4 महिन्यांत तो येता.
पडटा पूण तो पावस पळय जो पयलीं पडटा मदींच पडटा हांवें कितें वॉट इज दीस
Okay, that's also a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
Because now, as you correctly mentioned, SkyMet and lot of people are mentioning
Yeah.
the month of June rainfall may not be as much as actually people thought. In fact, if you look at
ही तुमी जर ट्रेंड हांवें आतां कांय वर्साचो जर ट्रेंड पळयत आमकां अशें दिसतालें की मे म्हयन्यान प्री मॉन्सून पावस येता
वय
आनीक तो येता 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 भरपूर पडटा बंद जाता आनी मागीर एंड ऑफ जून पडटालो अशें एक मदीं 10 वर्सां गेलीं
Eh,
सो आतां मदींच पडटा केन्ना म्हणजे आतां नाव इट इज बिकम ए
what you said is true. In fact, 23% of our monsoonal rainfall comes in the month of June.
येस
28 आमच्या जुलै पावता.
Yes.
31 ಎಂತೂ येता 38 August येता.
Yes.
And again, this one in the month of September.
Yes.
So the mid monsoon months, July, August maximum पाऊस मिळता.
Yes.
And as you said, in good old days, by August rains were over.
येस
People could have started their
ह्या वर्सा डिसेंबरान पडलो आनी
वय.
परत पडत सो आमी आतां कशे तरेन हें कोणाचें फेलियर
No, no.
काय ह्या निसर्गाचें कितें कसलें रूप
Oh, that is a fantastic question because now things are changing.
Yes.
Whether the monsoon season is changing
Yes.
or the pattern is changing. As you said, we would have liked to have actually a spatial and temporal distribution jaya Islam ka.
Yes.
That is good for agriculture, good for hydroelectric power,
Yes.
drinking water, etc. But if actually after the monsoon onset, the things change, it is because of the natural phenomena like say El Nino and La Nina. Am सांगताल तुमकां.
Yes,
That actually influences atmospheric circulation like say water circulation.
बरोबर.
All these things actually affect. As I said, it's a dynamical thing.
सो एका तेंपार जो पळय बे ऑफ बंगालान पळय जी चड वादळां जातालीं पावस पडटालो थंय
वे, वे, वे.
वेगवेगळे तरेचे नैसर्गीक तांडव जाताले
वे, 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 वे.
ते आतां अरेबियन सीन येवपाक
वे,
लागलो सो
exactly.
हो जो पळय आतां कितें ट्रेंड भयानक ट्रेंड जो अरेबियन सी येवचे पयलीं जो पळय थंय आमच्या
Yeah.
बे ऑफ बंगालान थैमान घालतालो ती संकटां आतां अरेबियन सीन आयल्या अशें मानपाचें
Very true, very true. What you said is actually, even if you look at this particular year,
Yes.
this Arabian Sea branch has actually progressed very fast. Bay of Bengal तितले progress जायना.
Oh.
So if you look at the pattern, what we call northern limit of monsoon म्हणता.
Yes.
आता northern limit आमकां काल आमच्या हिंगा कारवारा पावलो. Arabian Sea branchaचे. हांगा खंय पावना. In the Bay of Bengal.
बरोबर.
So basically, there should be some system, convective
Yes.
system, to pull it across into the Indian subcontinent.
येस आनी वॉट टायप ऑफ क्लाउड्स आमी कशे ती क्लाउड्साचो
Okay,
अभ्यास
that's
कसो
actually, if you look at the atmosphere,
Yeah.
50% of the atmosphere is by clouds.
Yes.
But every cloud does not give rainfall.
Yes.
So it's actually very important for each of the clouds to give actually condensation nuclei jai, enough height jai. There are different type of clouds. We
Okay.
call it cumulus cloud, stratocumulus cloud,
Yes.
altocumulus. I mean, alto Santa Cruz mungtani. So it's actually middle level.
Okay.
Alto this word, or alto is actually altinoman sangtami. So
Exactly.
the same way alto is actually used for middle level clouds. So we have alto stratus, altocumulus in the middle level. And amka cirrus monasa. 11-12 kilometers. So each of them, and there are some vertically developing clouds. Cumulonimbus cloud म्हणून आसा ते vertical आमच्या ते thunderstorms तांतू येता.
ओके
ते डेंजरस आसा. केरळांत 2018
Exactly.
इतले क्युमुलर नंबर्स येयलो. तांकां गोंयांत येयलो पंजिमा आसलो. इन द मंथ ऑफ एप्रिल ऑर मे वी हॅड एक्चुअली 1.5 hours इतले थंडरस्टॉर्म्स येयलो की आमी
बरोबर
विथीन 1 hour यू हॅड एक्चुअली 40 millimeters ऑफ रेनफॉल.
एक्झॅक्ट नो हांव दोतोर तुमकां तोच प्रश्न फुडलो सांगपा आशिल्लो की पावसाचो ट्रेंड बदलला. पयलीं कशें जातालें की 4 म्हयने पावस सलग जाय तसो पडटालो. केन्ना चड पडटलो केन्ना कमी पडटलो केन्ना मध्यम पडटलो हें आमकां कळटालें. आतां तशें कळना. आतां 3 दीस भितर जो पावस 1 म्हयनो पडटालो तो 3-4 दीस भितर पडटा. ताका लागून जालां कितें की इतलो तो जोरान पडटा की तो पावस सोंसून घेवपाची किंवा तितलें उदक सोंसून घेवपाची तांक आमच्या जमनी भितर उरूना.
दॅट्स अ फॅन्टास्टीक क्वेश्चन.
म्हणून केरळाक पळय जो जालो तो चड धरणां बांदलीं आनी उदक साठोवन दवरलें एकाच एरियान तें उरलें इम्बेलन्स जालें अशे तरेची चर्चा.
इट्स अ फॅन्टास्टीक क्वेश्चन. वॉट यू सेड इज ट्रू. आतां earlier it was actually like a natural phenomena, but we as human beings have actually changed it. Lot of things go as aerosols म्हणून येता.
Correct.
The aerosols आमी कशे येता that actually changes the pattern. In addition to that, as you said, earlier we had actually इतले बाय आसले इतले पॉन्ड्स आसले. आतां हें बाय पॉन्ड कांय ना. सो देर वॉज एक्चुअली ग्राउंड वॉटर रिचार्जिंग आसले. एनदर प्रॉब्लम इज एक्चुअली आमचे एग्रीकल्चरा लागून. इवन दो वी से देर आर लॉट ऑफ पॅडी fields and things actually over Punjab and Haryana, they were overusing that water. So more and more groundwater or borewells are there, which is actually dangerous. You are overusing. Majority of the water is going for the agriculture or this one. If you compare with the domestic or hydroelectric, this one. So
डॉक्टर रमेश कुमार थँक्यू व्हेरी मच. तुम्ही हांगा आमच्या स्टुडियोन आयले आनी खूब अशे वेगळ्या वैज्ञानीक आनी पर्यावरणीय प्रश्नाचेर तुमी आमच्या प्रश्नाक जापो दिल्ल्यो आसात. ह्या वेळार एक बरी गजाल की पावस नॉर्मल आसतलो अशें ते म्हणटात. पूण आतां जालां अशें की पावसाळ्याच्या पयलीं पावस पडटा मागीर तो डिसेंबर मेरेन चलता आनी एकदां तर अशें जाता की जो पावस म्हयनोभर पडपाचो तो फकत 4 दिसा भितर पडटा आनी आमी आमचे दोंगर कापल्यात शेतां पुरयल्यांत आनी पावसाचो किंवा उदकाचे पळय जे व्हांवून वचपाचे मार्ग आहात ते आमी आडोवन दवरिल्ले आसात. ही एक घातक ट्रेंड आनी निसर्गाचें चक्रय आतां इतलें बदलता की पावस कसो पडत वादळ केन्ना येत. एका तेंपार बे ऑफ बंगालान येतालें वादळ आतां तें कॉन्सन्ट्रेट जाल्लें आमी पळयतात अरेबियन दर्यांत. हें गोंया खातीर किंवा गोंयचे आसपासचे प्रदेश आसात तांचे खातीर एक भिरांकूळ गजाल. पूण दोतोर तुमी हांगा आयले आनी तुमी हे सगळे ट्रेंड आमकां सांगले. आमचे लोक आमचे पळोवपी आमचे सरकार हातूंतल्यान शाणे कांय प्रमाणार जातले अशें हांव अपेक्षा करता आनी इतल्यान आमची कार्यावळ सोंपयता. तरी तुमी पळयत रावात गोमंतक टीव्ही.
थँक्यू सर.